Dr. Pierre, first of all, thank you so much for joining us. You have full liberty. Ladies, let's take notes, sit up, let's not be distracted. And Dr. Pierre, welcome to the Red Carpet Girl Mentoring Program.
All right, thank you, Miss Rose. My name is Dr. Herma Pierre. I have a Ph.D. in Medicinal Biochemistry. So just kind of a bit of my background. I went to school at FIU. That's how I ended up in Miami. So I went to school really to become a doctor, right? Like everyone wants to become a doctor. I want to help people. But when I took my first chemistry course, I realized that that was definitely the route for me. So I switched majors. I was a biology major, pre-med, all that stuff. And I hated those classes, but I tried to rock with it. Uh, but when I switched to chemistry, it made so much more sense to me. And I decided then that instead of getting an MD, I would get a PhD in chemistry. But my journey wasn't really straightforward. I didn't go from bachelor's to PhD and everything worked out. There were a lot of challenges along the way. And there were things that happened along the way that made me think, okay, well, maybe this isn't the route for me. But then everything worked out, right? You know, everything worked out at the end. I ended up getting a master's degree. After getting my bachelor's in chemistry, I got a master's in environmental studies. A little bit different from chemistry, didn't make sense to me, but now I see kind of how things, work together. So I ended up working for USDA as an analytical chemist after that for 4 years. And through that, I started to develop my network, started to develop my confidence as a scientist, started to see, well, you know what, maybe a PhD is the route because I'm already operating at a PhD level here. Went ahead and, applied. And I applied 3 times. By the way, let me backtrack. It took me 3 rounds of applying to a PhD program to get in.
Wow.
Because I believed that was, and every single time that I heard a no, it was definitely defeating. And I did, and that's where a lot of that doubt came in. But when I applied for that 3rd time, moving in fear and trembling, right? When I applied for that 3rd time, when I didn't want to apply, that's when I got in. And it took me 5 years, which is normal for a PhD in the sciences. And I ended up getting my PhD in medicinal biochemistry, where I focused on a field called natural products chemistry, where you look at nature to find the next drug. So we looked at fungi. We studied fungi. Some people studied plants. I was familiar with plants when working with USDA, working in a lab as an undergraduate student, but fungi was a different field. But with that, I ended up pretty much creating a lot of different drugs that got tested in mice, that got tested in these different cancer cell lines. So, I really learned a lot from that experience. And I ended up finding a job in a biotech company in Ohio. So I moved from Miami to my school in North Carolina, where I got my PhD. And then I came up to Ohio a few months ago to work in a biotech company that partners with pharmaceutical companies to make sure that their drugs are safe. But I'm going to test it anyways. I'm going to create a method for you to test it in animals and make sure that it's safe before you try to put it in people. So that's pretty much like a very quick summary that's encompassing about 16 years worth of just me pushing forward and trying and having faith to be able to make things happen.